It is the Jim and Terry Show, coming to you from the Hobbit Hole studio in Bobcaygeon. I'm one of your hosts, Terry. At least that's what it says on my name tag. I mean, my mug. I have a mug, the souvenir mug. I believe Bob has one, Bobby and Jim has one, and I have one, and we have 100 or 200 business cards that we never gave out. Yeah, so I look at this and I say, is that me? Am I the Jim and Terry Show? Which mug am I? Because the coffee mug has a depiction of a microphone hovering over two piping hot mugs of coffee. Both of them handcrafted mugs. I don't like the mass manufactured mugs myself, even though they got cute things. Like the one I have now is a white mug with a flange kind of finish to it, the wide at the bottom, narrower at the top. And it's called Books and Coffee, which is really me. It says it all. But I prefer the mugs that are handcrafted, made by the potter down the road, or the arts and crafts sale that artists do once a year, the art fairs that are around in the fall. That's my preference for a cup of coffee. But that's just me. And I'm by myself in the Hobbit Hole studio, still podcasting while we have guests in the house and carving out a little time when our guests are out and about and enjoying the scenery and visiting other people while they wait for their home to be ready for them to move into. So while that happens, I'm enjoying the peace and quiet, and I am going to talk about how ideologies, political, meet with religious ideologies, usually fundamentalist, evangelical, and how the lines blur between theocracy and democracy and authoritarianism. Theocracy is aligned with authoritarianism. You've got God as the head, that's the theo part, the theos of the Greek word for God, and the democracy is demos, which is the people. So God on one hand and people on the other. And if you're the religious type, you say, well, people are inclined towards evil always, and the heart of man is despicable, and if it wasn't for God, we'd be up to no good and probably have killed ourselves long before this time. It's the grace of God that we live in, a period of grace extended to all people while the roll is being called up yonder, while the preparations for the eventual apocalypse and Armageddon. And yeah, I tend not to go down that road very often these days, having done what I consider to be the scholarly thing to do, which is weigh the evidence. And although I am concerned at present that people who genuinely believe all of the things contained in the text called the Bible really don't have the time or have made the effort to do what I would say is the scholarly thing to do. Check out the sources. Most people can't read Greek or Aramaic or Latin or Hebrew, and I can't read all of those either. However, I did, a couple of years worth of Greek studies and had my Greek New Testament and became somewhat familiar with the variances of Greek. And I still recite the Greek alphabet and still practice Latin every once in a while, just because, it has a place. Languages evolve, humans evolve, technology evolves. And when we maintain archaic systems under what I would say, the presuppositional belief that things never change, that God ordained all this stuff, and it hasn't changed. It's just the way it was. We got a lot of problems with that belief, but many people hold to that. So I'm going to challenge that and say we get some bad mix of politics when we blend fundamental evangelicalism of the Christian sort, white Christian nationalism, and political ideologies of a conservative far-right bent, and you end up with what is currently going on in the United States, which is effed up badly beyond all recognition. What's happened to the light on the hill? Well, somebody snuffed it out. And the children's song goes, won't let Satan's blow it out. I'm going to let it shine. Well, somebody snuffed out the light on the Statue of Liberty, and I got a feeling if Trump has his can of spray paint handy, he's going to spray paint the torch gold. Maybe the whole Statue of Liberty. I don't know, but I am concerned. And I'm concerned because I followed a line of thinking from a meme, a cartoon, and I wondered about the accuracy of the historical parallels between 1954 and the Joe McCarthy era with his communist list. I have a list of communists in the government. We need to out them, get rid of all the commies in the government. It sounds very much like Doge and Musk taking a chainsaw to government agencies of their own choosing, believing that they were, developing a more efficient, a lean machine of government efficiency. You can cut so much that you become inefficient. And that was the business model back in the, I'd say 90s, when we got the notion that you cut so much that your business actually suffered rather than became lean and effective. You cut too much and became ineffective. And that's what's happening with government right now in the United States. So much has been cut, so many of the safeguards in the EPA, government regulations, government oversight, so many towns, get into AI and the impact on small communities. And yet I saw Scott Bessent, and I don't know if it was Lutnick, who also argued that, AI is great for small towns. You'll see wealth build in a small community where there was none before, towns that had been just drive-through communities. When an AI institution comes in and builds a multi-100-acre field of AI, it'll all be great. Real estate values will go up, and everybody will be a happy little community. Happy Valley, USA, Pleasantville. No, that's not the way it goes. But I digress. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about going down the rabbit hole, linking authoritarianism of a religious stripe, which is a theocracy. Make America Christian again is the mantra. And I'm challenging that, looking at things like, and this, when I saw this thing of McCarthy 1954, and Trump and his communist rants in his recent White House Correspondents' Dinner. I should talk about that too. What a debacle. How would you ever think that Trump was going to pull off a White House Correspondents' Dinner as the host, the chief comedian? The jokes fell on a rather flat audience, but why anyone would show up to that? Remember, the first one was canceled because there was a guy streaking through, not streaking as in nakedness, streaking as in speed, trying to run past security, and he was tackled and arrested. Security breach, I guess is what they call it. But if you're an excitable conservative, you call it an attempted assassination. Well, it wasn't any of that, and hyperbole becomes some people. And anyway, the Correspondents' Dinner happened, and it was a flat... the clips I've seen of it are just terrible. And his mockery of Caitlin Collins, CNN, you deserve what you got there because you attended. Nobody should have showed up, but I digress. The things I want to link together are evangelicalism post Ronald Reagan, and that's the time frame for the book that I'm writing. And I want to connect Nixon, Reagan, Trump, and I want to connect them with the Federalist Society and the Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation, which is the Christian political influence peddling association, and the Federalist Society, which is a conservative legal think tank. Put them all together, and what do you get? And we get a mess, which explains what's happening in the United States at the present time. So when I asked AI, Google AI, can we add up all these influences from the Federalist Society to the Heritage Foundation to Project 2025, unitary theory of executive government, and the present agenda ruling by executive order of Trump 2.0? Can we find a through line through all of this? And the answer is yes. When these cumulative institutional components are brought together, they reveal a fully realized infrastructure of power. Each element serves as a distinct tier in a multi-decade project to reshape America governance, to make America Christian and authoritarian again. Again? It was never founded on authoritarian principles. It was founded on the principles of the Enlightenment of life, liberty, justice for all. And where have we gone? Well, we've gone to an ideological foundation of conservatism, which is the Federalist Society, which is established to provide the intellectual incubation tank for conservative legal theory, which includes unitary theory, the power of the president, as Stephen Miller said, shall not be denied. Yeah, he was right. And strategic policy, well, the operational blueprint, Project 2025, Trump 2.0, does it all. Are we surprised? We shouldn't be. At least I'm not, but I'm worried. Jim and Terry Show signing off. Bye-bye for now.
It's complicated, this relationship I have.